Hello. Let me know if you guys can see me. I'm just going to share it to Instagram real quick. Good morning. Hi, everyone. Hello. Let me make sure it's good on Instagram. Hi, everyone. Hi from Wales. Wow, Wales. That's so cool, Emily. You're first live from the UK. That's so awesome, Emma. Good morning, everyone. Hi. I don't know why I do this to myself. It's like so early in the morning. I don't know if you can see my eye bags. It's so early in the morning. And I always do this to myself. Like I'll set my live stream so early the night before and I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. It's not going to be a big deal. Like I'll be fine. And then I actually wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh gosh, why didn't I get more sleep? I mean, I got enough sleep, but sometimes I'm just not a huge fan of waking up early in the morning. I'm not sure why. Hello, everyone. Hi. Someone said it's only 9. It's 7 a.m. my time. So that's why it's a little bit earlier. Hi, guys. 6 p.m. in Belgium. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's like one of the only things I don't like about living in Hawaii, like doing meetings and all that kind of stuff. I always have to wake up pretty early because everyone's ahead of you in time. Yeah. Yeah, it's early. Hi from the Philippines. Oh, it's 6 p.m. in Holland. 2 in Argentina. Argentina, that's awesome. Wow, that's so cool. It's 11 a.m. in Texas. Oh, I hope you're doing okay. It's been so sad what's been happening in Texas. I hope you're okay, and I hope you're staying warm. Canada. Oh, you guys are tuning in from all over. I always love seeing where you guys are watching from. India, Singapore, Iowa, Sri Lanka. Wow, I don't think I've seen Sri Lanka in a live stream before. That's awesome. Bosnia. Oh, that's so cool. You know, so cool. I got to do a TED Talk. I lost my train of thought. I don't know where I was going with that. I got to do a TED Talk. I'll just finish with that. I don't know why I brought that up. Virginia, Minnesota, Hong Kong, New York, Jamaica, Malaysia. Oh man, the comments are coming in so fast. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh. The comments. Oh my goodness. I need to take a video of this. You guys are always like blowing me away by how fast the comments come in because it's just like, whoa, so fast. Hello, everyone. Hi. Oh, man. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to get into this live stream. If you are new to these live streams, this is basically where we just get to talk about everything skincare. I get to answer some of your skincare questions, listen to your skincare opinions, hopefully provide a little bit of, helpful feedback just based on my personal skincare philosophy and opinions. But this is not, professional medical advice. This is not professional advice in any way. This is just a fun place where we can talk about skincare and just connect on that level. But if you are having any concerns with your skin, please go see your esthetician or dermatologist to get that shit treated. This is just for fun. We just do it to connect and talk about skincare. It's nothing more than that. And yeah, if you're brand new to this, I have it every 2 weeks. And whenever we do a live stream, it is always crazy. The questions you guys ask are amazing. They come in so quickly. So I'm going to do the best I can to answer as many as I possibly can. But of course, even just looking at the chat now, I won't be able to answer all of them. So yeah, I wish I could. I severely wish I could, but I just don't have the power to. And I feel like even after I do these regular live streams, I'm always like, oh man, that was so many questions. It was so fast. But I love it. It's so much fun. If you are someone who sends a super chat, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. I do the best I can to answer a balance of both super chat questions and normal questions, just to give everyone an opportunity to ask their question. So I apologize if I'm not able to get to your super chat, but I'll do the best I can to answer as many as possible. So do you guys just want to get into it? Let's just get into it. Okay, let's look at some of these questions. Question: what is a good cleanser for dry skin? Yeah, so I would say personally, I don't have dry skin, but there are some ones that I typically recommend. The La Roche-Posay Toleraine Hydrating Cleanser is amazing because when it comes to dry skin cleansers, I usually and this is when I experience dry skin, like when I travel to the mainland, my skin gets really, really dry. I love cleansers that still give a good cleansing ability, but also don't strip the skin. And sometimes that's hard to find because with some dry cleansers, I feel like they don't do anything. And the La Roche-Posay one is really good. What's another one? Oh, the First Aid Beauty Hydrating Cleanser. That one's also bomb as well. I loved using. That was one of the actually first skincare products I ever started using. So I do like that one. Let's see. How much skincare is suitable for a 14-year-old? I love you. Oh, I love you too. Thank you, Esma. I would say however much you feel is necessary. When you're a teenager, it honestly just comes down to what you want to apply and what you feel is needed. If you are struggling with acne and breakouts, then I'd say, yeah, definitely go in with a full skincare routine because your skin is showing that it's having some trouble and you want to make sure you're taking care of it. If you're not seeing any skin concerns, then I'd say the only thing you really need is a sunscreen. You can go in with additional steps. It really just comes down to what you personally want. And I'd say that just goes in general as well. I feel like a lot of people who do watch my videos, or at least starting to watch my videos, they're like, Hiram, I can't handle a 4 or 5 step routine. That's way too much. I just don't have the power, like the willpower to be able to do that yet. And I'm like, that's fine. Just start out with a sunscreen and work your way up from there. When you get in the habit of doing skincare, it'll be a lot easier to add on more steps. But when you're a teenager, and honestly, it just comes down to what you want and what you feel your skin needs. So have it be as minimalist or as, excessive as you want. Although be careful about excessiveness because when you use a lot of products on your skin, it actually can create sensitivity and irritation. So you do want to be careful about that. Valentina says, no question, but I've binge watched your videos. You saved my skin. You're an inspiration as a person in general. Love from Amsterdam, Netherlands. Oh, thank you. That's so nice. Oh my God. Well, thank you for binge watching my videos. I mean, whenever people binge watch my videos, I'm like, how do you not get tired of my voice? Because even when I just edit one of my videos, I'm just like, oh my God, can this guy shut up? Because I'm so sick of hearing his voice. So kudos to you guys who are able to willpower through all of that. But thank you. That seriously means a lot. And I'm trying my best, but I appreciate that. Is there any skincare products that are anti-inflammatory, antibiotic? If not, then just anti-inflammatory that helps with hyperpigmentation that's just inflamed, or acne that's inflamed? Yes, and this comes down to one of my favorite ingredients out there, niacinamide. So one of the reasons I recommend niacinamide is because it's amazing for reducing redness and like minimal inflammation within the skin alongside hyperpigmentation, dark spots. The reason I recommend niacinamide is because it's well tolerated by sensitive skin. It works for so many skin types. It targets so many different skin issues, and most of the ones that you recommend. Now, as far as antibiotic, I would be curious to see what exactly you mean by antibiotic. If you mean antibacterial, then I would recommend an ingredient like benzoyl peroxide or succinate acid, because those help to get rid of the bacteria that causes like acne in the first place. As far as like an antibiotic, I would recommend talking to your dermatologist a little bit more about that and in what specific regard you mean antibiotic and how you want it to work for your skin. But as far as just anti-inflammatory, I would say start with niacinamide because it'll target some of those concerns that you talked about. Niacinamide is also great for acne because it helps to reduce the sebum that you're producing in your skin so you're not overproducing, and just an overall great ingredient that works well along active. So if you are looking for a niacinamide product, you can use a designated niacinamide serum. So like the ordinary niacinamide serum if you want, or the Ankylos niacinamide serum, or honestly, the majority of Korean skincare recommendations that I make on my channel already have niacinamide in them. So I just say incorporate it somewhere into your routine because it's definitely like an amazing ingredient that you want to take advantage of. Hola, Hiram. What can I use for stubborn blackheads? And do you recommend Fraxel laser? Thank you. Greetings from Mexico. Oh, I miss Mexico so badly. I actually have family who live down there, and I used to go pretty frequently with my family, and I haven't been able to go recently, and I miss it so bad. I can't wait for the day I get to go back. But I'd say for stubborn blackheads, definitely salicylic acid because it goes to the base of the pore and helps to exfoliate all the dead skin and helps get rid of that darkness, that causes the blackheads essentially, by just clearing out the pore and making sure it's not dirty. You can also use benzoyl peroxide, although I found salicylic acid to be more effective than blackheads. But also a good thing to use is niacinamide as well, just because it'll help to regulate that sebum production, so you're not overproducing sebum, which can contribute to blackheads. If you're looking for my favorite salicylic acid product, is Paul's Choice 2% BHA solution. Amazing. I always call it my miracle product because it works so well. But you can also use like the Inky Salicylic Acid Cleanser if you want. Just incorporate salicylic acid somewhere into your routine, and then make sure you properly moisturize. And I'd say that's a good way to help with blackheads. Ooh, man, the questions come in so fast. What is the best cleanser for oily skin? So I'll tell you what my personal favorite is. It's the Used to the People Kaolin Green Tea Cleanser. This one, I don't know what sorcery is in this cleanser, but every time I use it, my skin feels softer and way more cleansed afterwards, but it never overly strips my skin. And I just always notice my skin is happy whenever I use that cleanser. Like, really not very many problems occur whenever I use it, and that's the reason I love it so much. And I find that it's best for people with combination to oily skin. I'd also say the La Roche-Posay Purifying Cleanser is great as well. The Inky Salicylic Acid cleanser, if you're wanting like a 2-in-1 type of product, is also really good for oily skin as well. Those are just some of my favorites that I would recommend. But when it comes, to the best product, it really does come down to like what works really well, because what works really well for your skin, because oily skin is one of those things that it's hard to get all the oil off your face, but you also don't want to overly strip your skin, because that's only going to produce more oil down the road. So those are my top recommendations. I highly recommend them. And the amount of you guys that have like messaged me or come up to me in public and said like the Used to the People cleanser changed my life, I'm like, I know, it's amazing. So if I had to choose one, I would recommend that one. How to reapply sunscreen when wearing makeup. This is a great question. It's a little bit difficult depending on how much makeup you wear. If you're a lightweight makeup wearer, you can easily just use like a tinted sunscreen. Some of my favorites are like the Bliss Block Star sunscreen or the First Aid Beauty Mineral sunscreen. And you can just lightly, apply over the top. Lab Muffin Beauty Science, she actually made an amazing video that you can go watch talking about how you can reapply sunscreen over top of makeup. I also recommend a powder sunscreen as well. Powder sunscreens on their own are not going to be effective enough, but I find that if you're reapplying over an already, base of sunscreen, and if you're not seeing too much sun exposure, they're actually a great option. And it's really nice because they not only help to apply, a thin layer of sunscreen across your face, but they also just absorb any excess oil and sebum that's on your skin, which is really nice because most people, when wearing makeup or just throughout the day, tend to get a little shiny. So I love the powder ones. There's the Tarte powder sunscreen. There's the Derma E powder sunscreen, and there's the Paul's Choice powder sunscreen. So any of those I would recommend. What sunscreen do you use? Love your videos. Thank you, Lucy. The question is, what sunscreen do I not use? No, I'm kidding. So I personally use mineral-based sunscreens. I just feel that chemical-based sunscreens in the USA specifically tend to be too irritating for me to want to use and just aren't the type of ingredients that I would really want to support. So I typically use mineral ones. I am always trying out new sunscreens. Like the second I find a brand has like a fragrance-free sunscreen, or even just a relatively fragrance-free sunscreen. Like if there's one product where I'm okay with a little bit of fragrance, it is a sunscreen, because I don't want to sacrifice the potentially incredible experience of using a new sunscreen. Because when it comes to sunscreens, it can feel like a chore, and you don't want it to feel like a chore. You want it to feel enjoyable. So that's why I'm willing to splurge a little bit and broaden my horizons to be able to, make sure I'm using the best experience-based sunscreen out there. But the one that I have been loving recently, I literally just went out and bought 3 more, is the Bliss Block Star SPF. That one is just, it's so good. Like there's so few sunscreens I feel like where I can just apply it. It immediately looks not shiny and not heavy. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin. There's no white cast because it does have a tint to it, and just feels amazing. I love that one. My only complaint about it is that it does have some lavender oil, but lavender oil is one of the least irritating out of all the essential oils. It's the only essential oil in the product, and for how incredible the experience is, it's totally worth it to me. I get more worried about citrus-based essential oils and sunscreens because citrus essential oils can negatively interact with the sun and cause irritation in the skin. But even then, I have some sunscreens that I love that do have a citrus essential oil. Again, like I said, it's about trying to be open-minded to find the best experience sunscreen possible. So it makes me want to apply as much as I can. Because if you don't want to apply as much as you can, then it's just, you're not using the best sunscreen. It should be, you know, the most enjoyable experience possible. So the Bliss Block Star SPF. And don't sell it out, you guys, because I love that sunscreen so much and I'm going to be so upset if it sells out. But you can find it at Target. Gage says, hello from California. I was curious on your overall thoughts on the Shannon Darden skincare line. I'm currently loving her retinol reform. Yes. And Biossance updated their lip balm, no more rose scent. Yes. So first of all, Shannon Darden, love the brand. Actually, I did not know that Shannon Darden, it's a Black-owned business, which I thought was amazing. I'm doing a video that's coming up on Sunday where I actually go into a little bit more detail into Shannon Darden and a lot of other Black-owned businesses. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I mean, I love the retinol serum. It has become one of my favorite retinols. I think the brand is great. My overall complaint is that it's so expensive. It's a luxury brand. And I went onto the website and I found that they sell like this mask, this LED, I think it was LED mask set for $1,700. I was so blown away by the price point. I mean, their retinol is like $80. Which is obviously much more doable, but still pretty expensive. So that's my only complaint. But besides that, I think a lot of the products are awesome. I love the retinol serum. And then Biossance, yes, they did update their lip balm. They sent it to me. I've been trying it out. I like that it's in a squeeze tube format, although a part of me does love the jar, but it is more sanitary to have like a squeeze tube format. So yeah, I was really happy to see that. Particularly because if you watch my video about Biossance, I was complaining about the rose scent just because I'm not a big fan of the smell of rose. So I was happy to see that. How do I get rid of dead skin without using a scrub? Sorry, my throat is dry. Yes, so this is my favorite thing, chemical exfoliation. So chemical exfoliation is usually found in a serum or a toner or like a mask as well. And chemical exfoliation differs from physical exfoliation, which is scrubbing, by just gently dissolving the dead skin cells on the face. With a scrub, you're kind of bulldozing through all of them and you're not really easily able to tell when you've properly exfoliated and when you've exfoliated too much. It's a lot easier with chemical exfoliation just to ensure that you're not, you know, putting your skin at risk. Some of my favorite ones include salicylic acid, but also glycolic acid, lactic acid, polyhydroxy acid, mandelic acid. There's so many different types out there. If you're someone who has sensitive skin, I would recommend polyhydroxy acids like the Inculus PHA toner or mandelic acid like the by Wish Trend mandelic acid toner. Sorry. If you want salicylic acid, Paul's Choice 2% BHA solution is amazing. And then if you want something with, you know, glycolic acid or lactic acid, there's the ordinary glycolic acid solution. For lactic acid, they also have their lactic acid serum. The Inculist also has both of those options as well. You have a lot of options out there, but definitely I would recommend any day chemical exfoliation over a scrub. I don't think we need scrubs anymore, face scrubs. I just feel like technology and innovation has progressed so far past that. And it's just much better for the skin to use a chemical exfoliant. Jamie Lan says, what do you think about the Juice Beauty brand? So yeah, I've actually looked at Juice Beauty before. To be honest, I don't think they have products that I necessarily like strongly dislike. I'd say one of my challenges with the brand is that when it comes to like ingredients, you know, they talk about how they use fruit juices. When it comes to fruit extracts, they can be really beneficial for the skin. They have a lot of benefits, but a fruit juice is very different from a fruit extract. With a fruit extract, you're getting a concentrated form of the benefits that you can extract from a specific fruit. With juice, it's heavily diluted in water. So you're getting like 1%, 2%, 3% of the actual benefits because it's so diluted in water. And Juice Beauty specifically uses a bunch of different types of juices in their formulas. And, in a formula, you can only put so much in for it to actually be, effective. So I question how effective the products are actually going to be when they're based on juice. Also, my one little thing about it is that they do sponsor Goop, I believe, which if you haven't heard my thoughts about Goop, you can go watch my rating celebrity skincare brands. I'm not the biggest fan of Goop as a brand overall, but I don't say I have anything against the brand particularly. I just don't know if it's going to be as effective as I would personally want my products to be, just because of that juice component. Junior says, hi, love your videos. Thank you. Question, what is the difference between sunscreen, sunblock, and sun protectors? And keep up the fabulous work. Thank you. So to my knowledge, there's not any major differentiation. It's more so just the terms. The two that I am aware of is, sunscreen versus SPF. Sunscreen is the actual product. SPF is the specific rating, whether it's like a 30 or a 50. But as far as sunscreen, sunblock, sun protectors, I think the only differentiation between those terms are what is used globally. Like in other regions, there are words that are easy to understand or better translate than sunscreen. But I if there is a difference, I honestly don't know. And I'd be curious to hear your guys' thoughts if you do think that there is a difference between each of those terms. But from my understanding, they all refer to the same thing, just a sunscreen. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Jessica just sent a super chat. Thank you so much, Jessica. Guys, if you don't watch Jessica Kent on YouTube, I love her. She's so supportive. She actually makes incredibly informative videos about her experience in prison and talking about the prison system and prison reform and life after prison. Amazing, fascinating. Her story is so cool, and she's genuinely such a sweet, sweet person. So thank you so much, Jessica. That was so kind. She's awesome. I highly recommend you guys go check out her channel. Her videos are great, and I could literally watch them all day because I'm just like, this is fascinating. Like, I know so little about all of this. How will I find out what my skin type is? So I actually have an entire video dedicated to exactly figuring out how, but I say a good thing to do is, after you shower or after you cleanse your skin, even just wait and see how quickly your skin starts to produce oil. If it's over an hour and you don't notice that your skin is shiny, you don't notice the natural sheen that the skin gets, then I would say you have more dry skin. If it's under an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, I'd say you could have like normal, potentially combination skin. And if it's like 30 minutes that you start seeing oil on your face, then you have oily skin. But I don't remember exactly if those are the specific times that I mentioned in my video last. So go watch that video. I go through all the details there. It's part of my Skincare 101 series, but you'll be able to figure out what your skin type is there. But just in general, if your skin ever feels like tight, and if you don't feel like your skin is kind of like a bouncy, soft, plump, I'd say that's a good sign that you have dry skin. And if you are someone who notices that you get shiny quickly, your skin has this like reflectiveness throughout the day, then you could have oily skin. But I highly recommend just going and watching that video. Hey, Hiram, I want to ask, how do I get rid of wrinkles under the eyes? I'm only 14. Oh, okay. You know what? I totally empathize with this because when I was 18, I had wrinkles, like deep set wrinkles, to the point that my friends told me I needed to start using skincare because that's how bad it got. If you're 14, I'd say it's less about aging. It's more about just making sure that you're wearing a sunscreen, because sun will just accelerate aging so quickly in the skin. You want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, but also reducing your expressions. Now, that sounds bad, but let me explain. When I was younger, I used to make crazy faces all the time. I was very expressive, constantly wrinkling my forehead, constantly squinting my eyes. And that over time does cause aging within the skin. And as I got older, I realized, I can still have my personality shine through without being so expressive with my face that it's causing these wrinkles. So I squinted my eyes less, I moved my forehead up and down less, and I noticed a significant, balance in my skin. And I noticed that I wasn't, accelerating that aging like I was before. I'd also recommend, if you can, wear sunglasses, because if you are developing wrinkles that quickly, a lot of times it just can be from squinting your eyes all the time in the harsh sunlight. So make sure you are wearing sunglasses, but figure out a way that you can still, smile, be happy, all that kind of stuff, be expressive, but without, you know, squinting your eyes as much. I'd say that's probably going to make the biggest difference, because at 14 years old, I don't expect that you will be seeing significant premature aging at that age, because you're still, you know, developing. So that's what I'd recommend. I hope it helps. It's one of those tricky things. Like, I remember when I was 18 and I was just like, how do I already have wrinkles? Like, most people like do not have wrinkles at this age. This is so unfair. But by practicing that, it really did help a lot. Sorry, I'm going to turn on the AC. It's like really hot with the lights. Turn on. Turn on. Okay. This is such a luxury. Oh my gosh, you guys. I did not have AC at my last at my last apartment, because well, AC in Hawaii is like a luxury. It's you know, not something that every house has, and mostly just because, you know, renters just don't install them. And so when I would film my videos, I would sit there dripping in sweat. Not even kidding, dripping in sweat. So now that I have AC, I feel like such a lucky bitch. I feel so fortunate to be able to like not be dripping in sweat when I film videos. Excuse me. Will you ever cover the Olay Retinol? They keep advertising it as fragrance free. I would love to get your opinion on that brand in general. Yeah, so I actually have used the Olay Retinol before. Fan of it. I personally liked it. I didn't notice any irritation, which is great for retinol. I'd say it's like a more gentle introductory starter retinol, definitely not like a super power packed one, but I personally liked it. I think it's great. And one of the benefits of Olay is how accessible it is. You can find it so many places, so many countries around the world. And that's a big thing for me, because I always want to make sure my recommendations are accessible so that as many people as possible can get their hands on it. Because I see all of your guys' comments from all around the world saying, I can't get so many of the products that you recommend. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could know every single individual country and what products were available there. But that's one of the benefits of Olay. You can find them a lot of places. So yeah, if you guys want a review video, I'm happy to do, you know, a review video about Olay. What do you think about CeraVe for acne? Love you. Thank you, Sarah. So I'd say it's good. One of the benefits of CeraVe is that it focuses on really, you know, maintaining the moisture barrier and making sure that you're not overly stripping or overly damaging your skin, which is really, really important. In terms of acne treating ingredients, they do have like their benzoyl peroxide cleanser, which is really good, and their salicylic acid, which is cleanser, which is really good as well. Would I say they have the strongest acne treatments out there? No, they don't. I think that there's others on the market, but what CeraVe focuses on is just really gentle care, like ensuring you're not overdoing it with your skin, not overexposing your skin to potentially irritating actives and really strong concentrations of ingredients. That's their whole philosophy. So if you are wanting something more strong, there's other options out there on the market. But the good thing about CeraVe is that you can count on, you know, just your moisture barrier to be protected and just reinforced. Excuse me. Best eye creams. I love this question. I'm not like a huge eye cream person in the sense that I'm like, you absolutely need it in your skincare routine, but there are some good ones that I love and I can't live without. One of them is, and my favorite eye cream of all time, the First Aid Beauty Niacinamide eye cream. It's awesome because I think niacinamide is a great ingredient for the under eye area to help reduce pigmentation, but it has it's this perfect balance between a concealer and skincare, because I've never been one to like concealers. I just feel like they look so unnatural. I don't like that there's that much makeup on my under eye area. I just don't feel it's necessary to go that heavy. But just going with skincare alone, sometimes I'm like, I would like, you know, something a little bit, at least in the morning time, to just kind of like boost that area, make sure it doesn't look too dark, as I've started to struggle with dark circles. And that one's like a perfect balance. It has this slight tint to it that works so well in the under eye area. And I love that one. I also love the Versed Brightening Eye Gel. That one has become a new favorite and works really well for getting rid of my dark circles when they start to come around. I wouldn't say it's the strongest thing out there, but it definitely works well. And I'm all about, you know, using products that work well enough and then, you know, gradually upgrading as you see, you know, the need to use stronger and stronger treatments. So those are my top two. Those are my top two right now. I don't know if I have any like other top ones that I've been using right now, but I'll keep you guys updated. Hey Hiram, thanks for making your videos. Your Skincare 101 videos helped me get rid of acne I had since high school. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you, Kristen. That's great. That's what I hope my videos can do. Besides salicylic acid, what can I do to shrink my pores? Love you and your alternative channel too. Thank you. That's so kind. So I will say, when it comes to shrinking pores, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but technically you can't shrink your pores. Your pores are determined by genetics and by your environment. So if you live like in a more humid environment, for example, your pores will probably be bigger. And it just comes down to genetics. That's something you can't change, but you can reduce the appearance of, of pores, of blackheads, different things like that, whiteheads even. And for me, it really just comes down to that niacinamide and salicylic acid duo. Applying niacinamide during the day, applying salicylic acid at night, because that really helps to not only clear out the pores, but take care of the root problem and ensure that you're not, overproducing oil that would make those pores look more obvious. But I also think it's important to realize, like, if it is just pores, like, it's okay. Like, I have pores on my nose that are, pretty visible, and they're not dirty. They're just, they're just pores, and it's okay to have pores. That's totally natural. So I hope, that we aren't setting an unrealistic expectation for ourselves, because it's literally skin. That's what skin is supposed to do. But I would say niacinamide, introducing that into your routine would be great for helping just to balance that sebum production and make sure that you aren't overproducing oil. Thank you, Kristen, but that message was so sweet. I have dry skin and I have a feeling my acne is from my pores being clogged from oils. Which oils are comedogenic? How can I tell my acne if my acne is from oils or comedogenic ingredients? So let me just say, when it comes to comedogenic ingredients, that's a very, very complicated topic. And truthfully, most of the chemists that I consume content from talk about like how rating an ingredient as comedogenic is not oftentimes accurate, and even the entire structure of determining whether something is comedogenic or not is not really based on the most accurate scientific information. It really just comes to how your personal skin interacts with different ingredients. Now, if you are, struggling with clogged pores, I'd say it's good to stay away from certain types of ingredients, like say if it's like olive oil or coconut oil or different ones, even formulated in skincare products where they're highly refined. I still recommend probably avoiding them, because not only is it going to be potentially, not interacting well with your pores, sometimes it can just feel really heavy and not the most pleasant experience. I'd say if you are looking for like lighter weight oils, you can go with like jojoba oil or squalane, which are really beneficial and feel super lightweight on the skin. If you want to, you can always go oil free. That's an option too. But I will say, it just comes down to your individual skin. And in terms of determining which specific oils are clogging to your pores, honestly, it's really, really difficult to figure out. I just say it comes through experimenting and trying different products and see which products work for your skin, because most products have a blend, like a plethora of a bunch of different oils. So it's really hard to single out and determine which one specifically is making your skin react that way. But I will say, if you are using like a face oil, that can definitely be a contributor, because those are meant to be heavier on the skin. And in my opinion, face oils are just not necessary in a skincare routine. They can be nice to use, but a lot of times they cause more problems than solve them. So if anything, just use a moisturizer. Use a moisturizer with oils like I talked about, like squalane, or with jojoba oil, lightweight oils like that. And then if you're really concerned, just use an oil-free moisturizer. There's plenty of good ones for dry skin out there. And yeah, I'm sorry. I know it's not the most like clear-cut question, but that really is because it's very complicated, and so many people I know in the industry are just like rating something as comedogenic is not accurate and not based on true science. So that's just my opinion. I will admit I am not like super educated in that respect, but I will say I don't want to start this necessary thing of like pointing fingers at different ingredients and saying you're pore clogging, but you're not pore clogging, but you are, but you're not, because it just depends on everyone's skin. How about cleansing oils? Would you recommend cleansing after or don't use at all? I think cleansing oils are amazing. So I would say cleansing oils are different from face oils, because it's the difference between a leave-on treatment versus a wash-off treatment. With cleansing oils, their only function is to break up the makeup and sunscreen on your face to make it easier for your cleanser to remove them afterwards. I personally love cleansing balms, but cleansing oils are great too. I love so many cleansing oils, like the Eye Unique Calendula cleansing oil is amazing. I would say with the cleansing oil, though, you always want to apply it before your cleanser. You don't want to apply it after your cleanser because that could definitely like give you some results that are not good. It can make your skin feel greasy. And if it's, you know, kind of blending with the makeup and sunscreen on your face, but you're not properly removing it, that can definitely like lead to clogged pores because everything's just kind of mixed together on your skin and you weren't actually removing all the stuff that you put on it from the day before. So always follow up with a water-based cleanser afterwards. But yeah, cleansing oils are great. I think they're awesome. I'm 13. Should I be using an SPF? Yes, yes, yes. Everyone should be using an SPF, even babies. Like, I firmly believe that everyone should be using sunscreen, particularly if you are younger, actually, because a lot of the sun damage and skin complications that come from sun damage are actually absorbed when we're kids, you know, when we're out in the sun a lot, playing around, exposed to UV damage, you know, every day. So I definitely recommend wearing sunscreen every single day. What do you recommend for around sensitive eyes? I can't wear eye makeup, but the skin around my eyes are really dry. Great question. So you don't necessarily need to use a eye cream on your under eye area. You can use a face cream as well. Companies will like to tell you that we specifically formulated this and you have to use, you know, this specific eye cream for the eye area because the face cream is not formulated for the area. It's not true. You can use a face cream on your under eye area. I'd say I'd find a really good moisturizer for sensitive skin. So one example could be like the Skin Fix Lipid Barrier Cream or the Biossance Omega Repair Cream, or even something really gentle like the Vana Cream Moisturizer, something like that, and then just lightly apply it to the under eye area. That's what I would recommend. If your skin really is like the most sensitive, then I would recommend Vana Cream because that works for most people's skin. And if it doesn't work for your skin, then I definitely recommend seeing a dermatologist because Vana Cream, I feel like, is the one brand that everyone can kind of rely on to work for the most sensitized skin out there. But yeah, I'd say, you know, you don't need to use an eye cream specifically. Just use a really good moisturizer for sensitive skin. Can you use vitamin C in the morning and salicylic acid at night in the same day? Yes, definitely. Vitamin C has very different functions than salicylic acid. And I understand, you know, the concern of not wanting to use them together for stability. And honestly, vitamin C is best effective, in my opinion, during the day. So definitely use vitamin C during the day, salicylic acid at night. Technically, you can apply salicylic acid during the day, but I would recommend doing it at night because that's when it's going to be most effective. Can I put salicylic acid underneath my eye? I would be careful, only because the eye area is very sensitive, and it really comes down to like why you'd want to put salicylic acid on your under eye area. If there are concerns like milia or different things like that, I'd say try niacinamide, you know, something to help kind of address you know, the sensitivity and irritation problem, while also regulating sebum production. But I'd be careful about salicylic acid on the under eye area because that can go bad pretty fast, and you really don't want to over exfoliate your under eye area because that would just not be fun. So just be careful. Should I use BHA, salicylic acid, in a cleanser, leave-on, or both? I'd say honestly, it just comes down to what you want. I usually recommend being careful about using both a salicylic acid-based cleanser and a leave-on treatment, just because that can be overexposing your skin to exfoliants, and I always believe that you should just be gentle. There's no reason to go overboard, but just work your way up as you see fit. If you find that you're using a salicylic acid-based cleanser and a leave-on treatment and they're not being effective on their own, you can try and see if your skin can handle it. But overall, I just recommend finding just a better salicylic acid product to work with, just because I don't know if they're being as effective as they could be. But yeah, I mean, just be really careful about it and make sure you're not just using too high of a percentage of both. Like if both products are 2% salicylic acid, I'd be a little careful because that's a lot. What is a good night moisturizer cream for oily skin to pair with a retinol? Oh, great question. So honestly, the moisturizers I recommend that I love for oily skin are the Rovectin Clean Lotus Water Cream. That one works really well, and the lotus extract is great for, just to work alongside an ingredient like retinol. You want to be careful. Don't use a moisturizer with fragrance alongside retinol because that can increase sensitivity. Also, don't use a moisturizer with any type of exfoliant or any type of treatment because you want to be careful about mixing that with a retinol. But the Skin Fix Lipid Barrier Peptide Cream is one of my absolute favorites to pair alongside a retinol because retinol can be a little bit drying. And even if you do have oily skin, you may notice that when you wake up, your skin is a little bit more dry. So using a heavier moisturizer is really good. Also, if you guys just watched my video about dehydrated skin, I talk about how one big misconception with people who have oilier skin is not to use a nighttime moisturizer or use a really lightweight nighttime moisturizer, when in reality, a lot of times using a heavier moisturizer at night can help prevent a lot of the oiliness that you see throughout the day because you're losing less water through your skin overnight. So if anything, try using a little bit of a heavier one. But if you are nervous, the Rovectin Clean Lotus Water Cream, there's the First Aid Beauty Coconut Water Cream, there's the Biossance Probiotic Gel Moisturizer. All of those are amazing. Some of my favorite ones for oily skin. I need water. My throat is dry. Could you give me some ideas about skincare while using face masks for COVID protection? Great question. I actually have an entire video dedicated to maskne, which is mask acne, and how to take care of the skin there, because you do want to be careful. I'd say my biggest recommendation, I see a lot of people start to break out in that area. Well, first, my biggest recommendation, don't wear makeup under your mask. Just leave the makeup to outside of the mask area, because in that environment where it gets humid and it gets sweaty, that's really not where you want makeup to be, because that can definitely contribute to breakouts. But the other recommendation I have, I see a lot of people going in with strong treatments, scrubs, harsh exfoliants because they want to get rid of that acne, when in reality, a lot of times the acne in that area is not necessarily just from normal clogged pores, but it's actually from irritation and sensitivity and being in that hot, humid environment. And that's really where you want to focus on nourishing your moisture barrier and protecting your skin. So using, like a heavier moisturizer to seal in any water loss, using like a petrolatum-based moisturizer to help create that seal overnight or during the day as well can be really beneficial. But you can go watch my video about that, because I give all the recommendations and all the details on how to specifically deal with mask acne. Can you please make a video about Thank You Farmer? I'm totally open for it. To be honest, I don't see many requests for Thank You Farmer on my channel. If you guys aren't familiar, it's a Korean skincare brand. But I did see that in recent sunscreen testing, their sunscreen actually performed really well. So I'm totally open to like exploring that. I think in a lot of their products they use fragrance. I'm not sure, but yeah, totally open to it. Tatcha Lip Mask. Okay, so this is one like a lip mask product from Tatcha. I have to say, I purchased it. I love it. It's really good. It's probably one of my favorite lip masks to use during the day. Not my favorite at night, just because I don't feel like it's enough moisture for my lips. It doesn't work well enough. And it is one of those ingredient lists where I'm just like, well, it's not the most amazing ingredient list ever, but the experience is nice. I think one of the reasons I love it is because it lasts forever. I use that thing every single day, probably 2 to 3 times a day. And I feel like I've barely put a dent into it. It lasts a long time. So I do like it, but it's also one of those products that I don't believe is like, you need to go out and buy. It's necessary to your skincare routine. It's definitely a luxury. It's definitely not, it's definitely not necessary, but I like it. I enjoy it. It's a fun product. Let's see. How do I get rid of redness on my cheeks? Definitely recommend niacinamide. That's just a great ingredient to be able to help reduce redness and inflammation and sensitivity. I think it's just a great ingredient to incorporate into your skincare routine. And if you haven't tried it, I'd recommend giving it a try. But also, I've also made videos about how to deal with like sensitive skin using ingredients like centella asiatica, green tea, which are great for reducing that redness as well. There's some awesome natural extracts out there that you can use. But yeah, I'd say if I had to go with one, go with niacinamide. And again, like I said before, you can go with a niacinamide specific product like the niacinamide serum from the Inky List or something like that. Or you can go with, a product like in Korean skincare or in a lot of other brands that happens to also include niacinamide in its formulation. Either one will work. Can you review Face Theory? I was literally just thinking about that this morning because I was watching a YouTube channel, Mad About Skin. I love his videos. And he was talking about how much he loves Face Theory. And I'm like, I need to make a review video about Face Theory because I like them as a brand, but I just haven't talked about them too much on my channel. So I need to just talk about them more. So thank you for the reminder. Ooh, this is a good question. Lala says, can you talk about the pros and cons of castor oil on the lashes and eye area? So if you're unfamiliar, castor seed oil is a ingredient that a lot of people use to help like nourish their hair follicles and just to really condition the hair overall to help in its growth. And also some people have used it on acne spots to be able to help treat acne. I'm not sure I totally recommend using castor oil on acne just because some people don't necessarily respond well to 100% oil specifically on their acne area, but honestly, I don't see a problem with it. I think it's fine to use in that area. The only thing I'd be a little bit, mindful of is being particular about where you apply it, because some people, like I said, their skin doesn't react well to castor oil. And so if you're applying it really heavy to like, your lashes and your eyebrows, and it gets kind of on the area up there, especially if you apply it before you go to sleep and then you're pressed up against a pillow and it rubs off, you may see some, not the best benefits from the castor oil on your skin, but also some people's skin really reacts well to castor oil. So I'd say it just really depends. I personally don't like using castor oil on my skin because it's so heavy. Oh my gosh, that oil is so crazy heavy, and just not something I just really personally want on my skin. But when I find castor oil like formulated into skincare products, I'm more than happy to use it. So yeah, I'd say just mostly pros. I don't see many downsides to using it, but I have seen some people tout it as like, this is the thing that you need to get rid of your acne, and I'm like, no. I I don't believe that. Can you please do a video on Bioderma? Yes, I'm actually working on trying the products, so that is in the works. Do you know which skincare products use shark squalane? So if you don't know, the ingredient squalane has been in the past sourced from sharks, which is obviously horrible, so unsustainable, and something I'd never recommend. That's why the products that I like to use with squalane, from my knowledge, all use, plant-derived squalane. And to be honest, within the USA, it's very, very rare that you'll find squalane sourced from sharks. It's kind of one of those things in the back of the industry that's a big no-no. And a lot of companies know that if it were to, not only that it's horribly unethical, but also like if it were to come out that, they do use shark-based squalane, they would, never recover from that, which is kind of a gross reason to avoid it, but it is the industry. That's the way our world works. But I say the biggest concern for squalane is depending on the region, there are certain regions that tend to use it more than others just because there's less regulation. The USA doesn't have the best regulation at all. Europe and Korea, Australia, I'd say have much better regulation, but it's not as common in these products here. But I'd say in a lot of products that are really, really, really affordable, that may seem like they don't have, the best testing or the, the highest level of standards when it comes to their products. You just want to be mindful of that. In reality, there's no way to tell. It's impossible to tell unless the brand is overly transparent about what type of squalane they use, which is why you want to make sure that you're going with brands that have really high standards, that are very transparent about their practices. And that's why I'm very particular about the brands that I like to support, and I don't just go out and support every brand out there. But I'd say it's not as big of a concern as some people think it is. But again, it just depends where you are in the world, because there are some other regions where I know that is more common practice and where there isn't as much, concern about that, which is obviously very concerning to me. But I am not an expert in that area. There's so much I still have to learn about that. But that's just after some conversations I've had with formulators that are based here in the USA, talking about the ingredients and talking about the likeliness of, sharks actually being used for squalane. And they said that it's not really something that you should worry about, at least in the USA or in Europe, in Australia, or in Korea. So that's what I know. Hi, Hiram. I hope you're having a good day. Thank you, Jax. Should you use salicylic acid as well as benzoyl peroxide, or is benzoyl peroxide exfoliating? So benzoyl peroxide is not exfoliating. What it just helps do is get rid of the bacteria that causes acne in the first place. You can totally use benzoyl peroxide and salicylic acid in the same routine. But I will say, just be a little mindful of it. If you found that salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide don't work on their own, they can complement each other because they have a little bit different functions. But I'd still recommend like using one in the morning and using one at night. So benzoyl peroxide cleanser during the day, salicylic acid product at night. That way there is some, difference in time space between them, so you don't see increased sensitivity. But honestly, I know so many dermatologists that recommend using both in a routine, and some people see amazing, benefits and results. So just really comes down to what you're most comfortable with, but I'd say they're both amazing ingredients for helping to get rid of acne. Do you like the Clinique cleansing balm? I'm not the biggest fan, only because it uses polyethylene, which is plastic, and plastic can be used in cleansing balms to kind of create this nice experience. But my stance is, if we don't need to use plastic in something that goes in, washes off and potentially goes into the ocean and affects marine wildlife, I'd rather not go that direction. So I'm not the biggest fan of the Clinique cleansing balm. If I had to recommend cleansing balm, I'd recommend one like the Then I Met You Living cleansing balm, that Bad Habit Acai cleansing balm, the Burt's Bees cleansing balm, the Neutrogena cleansing balm. There's a bunch of options out there on all different price ranges for polyethylene-free cleansing balms. I just think those are the best. Oh man, it's so hard to choose one question because there's so many that I want to answer. Oh, this is a good question. Kara said, why are chemical sunscreens bad? So I hesitate to label a lot of ingredients as bad. It's just whether I think that they contribute to more sensitivity or less sensitivity. There's two different reasons why I avoid chemical sunscreens. And when I say chemical, I'm referring to ones like avobenzone, oxybenzone, octinoxate, homosalate, different ones like that, not mineral sunscreen filters. So the main one is that it can cause sensitivity in the skin. Chemical UV filters are known to be pretty sensitizing and cause some, negative reactions. And I've spoken to so many people who have negative reactions and breakout because of chemical UV filters. So that's the main reason why I hesitate to recommend them on my channel. The other thing, and this is a very controversial opinion, and you by no means have to believe me, but there is some conflicting data out there about if chemical UV filters could be contributing to coral bleaching. Now, the main thing that's contributing to coral bleaching is global warming. That is the main thing. So in relation to global warming, chemical UV filters, even if they are bleaching coral reefs, it's literally like the tiniest percentage in comparison. But I am one of those people where I'm like, if we don't need to use an ingredient, and it does have some negative side effects, I don't think we should. Now, in the scientific community, there has been a lot of criticism towards the actual studies that were published about coral bleaching because of chemical UV filters. But I take the stance to where I'm like, if it's even questionable, if there's even a question mark, I'd rather stay away from it. And that paired with the sensitivity it can cause, I'm just like, we may as well just use mineral filters. I just think they're so much better. Mineral filters can do so well for the skin. The only exception I have to that is if you are someone with a darker skin tone, it is sometimes harder to find a good, affordable mineral-based sunscreen that works for all skin tones. So by no means am I saying like you guys shouldn't purchase chemical sunscreens, but being that I am in Hawaii, I literally see the effect of sunscreens here on the coral, and there is that question mark even though it's not proven and there is a lot of skepticism. Just because there's that question mark, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to avoid it just in case, because I don't want to be accidentally be contributing to a problem like that. So that's the reason why I stay away from them. But again, it's something that I've learned more and more and more about over time, and definitely not something I want to label as chemical sunscreens are bad, they're toxic, they're killing the coral reefs. You know, I don't want to spread that message because that's not necessarily true. Thank you so much for your videos. You help me understand skincare more. Of course. I'm happy to help in any way I can. Hey, Hiram, do you ever feel guilty over splurging or spending on skincare as a superficial thing? How do you deal with it? Love from Peru. This is a great question. First of all, Peru is so cool. I hope to visit there one day. I want to go so badly. But this is a great question. I don't think I've actually been asked this question before. I am someone who I don't mind spending a good amount of money on a product if the ingredient list is really impressive to me. If I see an impressive ingredient list where it has all these incredible, you know, natural extracts and well-researched ingredients, and it's in a good formula and it has a great experience, and you know, with like mindful or sustainable packaging, I'm totally willing to put down a good amount of money on it, because it comes down to, you know, product quality that I can actually see. I also set limits for myself though, because if a product, like a product that you can use in just like 3 months and then it's done, if it's over $100, I am very skeptical, because I just don't feel like there's a lot of products out there that need to be charging that high of a price point to be effective. And for me, it's all about what's effective. You know, I'm not looking for luxury. I'm not looking for necessarily things like that. I'm looking for what will be the most effective. And I like to actually, the whole reason, honestly, I love to use skincare products is so that I can recommend them to you guys if I love them afterwards. And I just don't feel comfortable recommending really expensive skincare to you guys. The only expensive things I've recommended on my channel are like skincare tools that are really innovative, that use really cool technology, or if it's something that's going to last, like, you know, for a long time, like years and years and years, rather than just like a 3-month product. Those are the types of things that I have been willing to like splurge on. But just in general, I don't really like to splurge on skincare, and the more affordable I can find, the better. But I also am a person to where I'm just like, I think it's important to be mindful of affordability, but also be mindful of quality, and that we shouldn't limit ourselves to just a very specific price point when there's incredible products that are outside of that price point. Like product I love, the Skin Fix Lipid Peptide Cream. It's $50, you know, not the cheapest moisturizer out there, but incredible. The results are amazing. I'm totally willing to spend that much because it just has amazing ingredients and incredible results. But anything over $100, I'm just like, yeah, there's very, very few instances where I would pay that much for a product. But you know, that's just me. I also feel like when it comes to expensive luxury products, like if I were to spend like $300 on a moisturizer, first of all, over my dead body. But if, you know, I were to consider getting a $300 moisturizer, it's just like, I would just get a $50 moisturizer and then donate $250 to charity. And like, that's such a better way to go about it than to spend that amount of money on a product that will be just as effective as a much cheaper one. So I don't know. That's my personal stance. I don't really believe in the whole like luxury skincare thing. But yeah, that's just me. Is Aveeno a good brand? Good question. So I actually, funny enough, if you watched my rating drugstore brands video, I filmed that a while ago. Like, I think I filmed it over a month ago. And at that point, my knowledge of Aveeno products was based on, you know, what I had looked at in my review video, which in my review video where I did the truth about Aveeno, I wasn't super impressed. Like, I wasn't necessarily really disappointed, but I really wasn't very impressed just because I felt Aveeno was such a large brand and they can come out with so much more innovative formulas. But they recently came out with their oat line that I have been loving. I've been using the cleanser, I've been using the serum, I've been using the moisturizer. I used all 3 this morning. Yeah, they're great. I love that line. I think it's awesome. I also love their eczema specific products. Also really good as well. So they are starting to come out with more products that I think are really, you know, inclusive and encompassing of people who have major skin sensitivities. And yeah, so I like Aveeno. I think they're a good brand. Hey, Hiram, what's your opinion on Dollar Tree skincare? There's no Dollar Trees in Hawaii. Everything's way too expensive to be able to have a Dollar Tree here or any type of dollar store here. There are none. I'm just going to say if your skincare product is $1, I would be concerned about the quality, where the ingredients are coming from. You know how I was talking about how like just in the USA in general, we don't have to worry much about like because of regulation, because of things like that, we don't have to worry too much about the ingredients. I feel like the exception to that is dollar skincare. And I get it. You know, some people, they don't have a lot of money to spend on skincare. Totally understand. But you can find really good skincare products for like $5 each, like CeraVe ones, you know, some like the cleansers and the moisturizers, you can find them in the smaller sizes for $5. They work awesome. $1, it's at that point, you're maybe like the formula itself is maybe like 5 cents. Like that's how like cheap the formula is, because for most products, packaging is more expensive, and then there's of course the markup. So I don't know. I just wouldn't recommend trying out that skincare, just because I don't believe that there can really necessarily be good quality skincare from a dollar product. If anything, just spend a few dollars more, get a CeraVe product, or get, you know, a different type of drugstore products. But I don't recommend that. But I'm jealous of all of you guys who have access to a Dollar Tree, because I miss those days where I was able to shop from Dollar Tree. Oh, Brittany says, just a tiny donation because I really appreciate you. Thank you for all the education you share and for being so kind-hearted after all the painful stuff you went through. Much love for Brittany in Indiana. That was so sweet. Thank you, Brittany. That's very, very kind. And, you know, it's so sweet. Yeah, you know, I hope people can come to my channel and, like, you know, feel better. And, you know, I feel like there's just so much negativity in the world, and the last thing we need is to watch more content about, you know, negativity and anything like that. And I hear so many of you guys saying that you like watching my videos because it makes you feel better, and that's my goal. So thank you. That's very, very sweet. I just realized we're already an hour into the live stream. That went by so fast. That has to be one of the fastest feeling live streams I've ever done. Wow. Okay, so we're going to finish off with the last 5 minutes. You guys can ask any non-skincare questions, any questions you have about my life, about Hawaii, about YouTube, about drama. No, I'm kidding. Any questions you guys want to ask, feel free to ask them, because I always like to save this last few minutes of the live stream just to have a little bit of fun and not be so hyper-focused on skincare, because skincare questions can be intense. They can be a lot. Okay, let's see. Oh man, questions are so fast. It's so hard to choose one question. Let's see. What's your favorite color? It's blue. I love blue. I feel like it's kind of obvious in my videos because all of my shirts are blue. I love any type of ocean blue. Like, it's so funny when people have asked for a specific favorite color. I'm just like, it's hard, because literally whenever I look at the ocean, I'm like, that's my favorite color. Just all of it together. I love it. It's so pretty. So I love blue. Am I going to dye my hair again? Part of me wants to. Part of me doesn't want to, just because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of maintenance. And I kind of like flying under the radar when I'm in public. But when my hair is like super purple or super blue, it's like people are instantly like, boom, like, who is that? And I think for me, I kind of like want to keep it just like casual when I'm out and about. But not gonna lie, sometimes I look at pictures of my purple hair and I'm like, oh, I kind of miss that. Did you guys hear that? My stomach just growled so loudly. So I will at some point. I'm positive I will. I just don't know when. What's it like living in Hawaii, and would you ever move to the UK? Great question. Love living in Hawaii. Honestly, there's this peace I feel while here that I can't find anywhere else. Every time I'm here, I'm just like, oh, I feel grounded. I feel at peace. It's honestly just like, feels like home, more than my actual home ever did. Would I ever consider moving to the UK? I don't know, just because I cannot handle cold. I am a bitch in the cold. And when I say cold, I mean anything under 63 degrees. Anything under 63 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm a bitch. So I can't handle the cold. That's why I think Hawaii is so good for me. But, you know, UK seems amazing. maybe I'd live there for a short time. I don't know. That'd be kind of fun. So many questions are asking, how are you feeling today? And I love that. I love that you guys are asking. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little bit like, because didn't get as much sleep as I wanted to last night, but I still got a good amount of sleep. It's good. I'm ready to go into a full work day today. But yeah, feeling good. I always love doing live streams. You guys always make me feel so happy. What's your zodiac sign? So I wonder if I should just ask you guys to guess. I'm going to answer that one a little bit later. You guys should just guess what my zodiac sign is, what you think it is. Do I know where Pakistan is? Of course. I have friends who live in Pakistan. I want to go so badly. Ever since I read I Am Malala, I've always wanted to visit Pakistan. I think it's so amazing. I'm seeing Gemini, Leo, Sagittarius. Oh my gosh. You guys think I'm a Sagittarius? I'm offended. I'm kidding. Cancer, Aries, Taurus, Aries, Leo. That's so funny. I feel like I'm totally not a Leo. I mean, I'm not, but I just feel like my mannerisms are definitely not Leo. Scorpio. Wow. Okay. I don't think I've ever had someone guess Scorpio. Libra. You think I'm a Libra? I take personal offense to that. No, it's fine. Actually, like 4 of my friends are Libras. So I'll just answer Taurus. I'm a Taurus. I feel like that's pretty obvious because like Tauruses are, they like either go 100% for something or 0 for something. And I'm totally that type of person. Like if I find a skincare brand I love, I will go for that skincare brand so hard. But if there's something I don't like about a skincare brand, it's just like cut off. Same with my like friendships. If you're my friend, you're either like my close friend, we go hard for each other. But if you do something to like piss me off or do something that like really offends me, cut off 0%. Bye, bitch. So yeah, I feel like I'm pretty Taurus, but I'm right on the cusp of Taurus and Aries. I should mention that I'm right on the cusp. So there are some things, elements of Aries, but honestly, I don't think I'm very Aries. The only thing I'd say I'm Aries for is like in my work life, like the drive and the constant like wanting to work and be productive. I think that might be a little Aries, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Favorite food? Ooh, probably Mexican. I miss the Mexican food my mom used to make and from when I lived in Arizona. But I also love Italian. I also love local Hawaiian food. Really, really good. What's something on your bucket list? Ooh, oh, that's a good question. Because I have so many things, truthfully. I'd say one of the next things is go to India. I really, really, really want to go to India. That's always been a dream of mine. If it wasn't the pandemic, I would be over there so fast. But I just have to wait until everything's resolved and then I'll visit there. Favorite show to watch? My favorite TV show is the Game of Thrones, definitely. I'm obsessed with Game of Thrones. But as far as recent TV show, I've been loving Pose. If you guys have watched Pose, it is amazing. I cry in every episode. It's so pathetic, but it just like it hits like a heartstring. And I think the experiences that they went through, I can kind of, in small ways, relate to and empathize. So it just gets me in the heart. Let's see. What part of Hawaii do I live in? I live on Oahu. So Honolulu, the most populated island. Yeah, that's where I live. Same island as Bretman Rock, Ava Jules. Excuse me. What is my favorite thing about Hawaii? I'd say just the overall, well, honestly, no, the nature. It's beautiful. Like, I cannot get enough of the beaches and the hikes and the beautiful nature. Hawaii is definitely not for everyone. Most people, like, they move here and then they move away because they realize, like, oh, it's not as, like, glamorous as I want it to be, which is ridiculous because I think people come here expecting, like, vacation 24/7 when it's real life. You have to live your real life here. But it's so incredible here. It's just so beautiful. Oh, what do you love most about yourself? I've never really thought of that before. What do I love most about myself? I'd say I think I'm a pretty good supporter of people's goals and dreams. When I see that someone has a goal or dream that they're aspiring to, I love to be the first person in the line that's like, do it, you can do it, let me help you, you're gonna make it. And I think that's because I grew up in an environment where I felt so trapped and I felt like I wasn't gonna get out of, and I felt like I was never gonna accomplish my dreams and my goals. And I had to be the only person that was really encouraging myself that I was going to get out of that toxic environment. And it was really difficult and it was super lonely. So I always want to be that person for other people. And I think there's nothing sadder than seeing someone share their goals and their dreams with someone else, and for that person to put them down, call them stupid, or, show any type of negativity for having those goals and dreams. I just think that's the most disgusting behavior. And so, yeah, I always want to be the first cheerleader to, push people to go after their goals and dreams. So I'd say that's probably the thing I love most about myself. Okay, I'm gonna do 3 more questions and then my computer's gonna die. So I gotta log off soon. Favorite book? Left to Tell by Omakuli Ilibagiza. She is an incredible survivor of the Rwandan genocide, and I've read that book 13 times. Life-changing. That book changed my life. Love it so much. What do you want for your future family? This is such a good question. So my dream has been to literally adopt as many kids as possible. I love kids. And I just think that there's so many kids who, don't have a home, who don't have a family, who are orphans, and in so many, tragic situations around the world. And I just think that they deserve access to all the opportunities that I have been given. And my dream is just to adopt kids and raise them to be able to give them as many opportunities as possible and send them off into the world to do whatever they want, but hopefully change the world, and just, help as many kids as possible, because it makes me so sad that there are so many kids who don't have a home and who don't have parents, and who, are about to lead a life of, potentially sadness and, trauma. And I just don't think that, kids deserve that. So that would be my goal. There's one girl, I can't remember what her name is, but she adopted 50 kids. And I honestly kind of see potentially that happening in the future, just because I think kids are so, so cool. And I just want to give as many of them as possible opportunities for the future. But who knows? I have no idea what will happen. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? Yes, I do. Okay. What do I think of religion? This is a great question to end on. So I have no problem with religion if it promotes love, if it promotes acceptance, if it encourages people to be better. And there are lots of people I know who are religious, who are some of the most kind, accepting, beautiful people I've met. I know so many people who are religious who are some of the most disgusting, hateful, vile people that I've ever met as well. And I don't think that being religious necessarily says anything better about you as a person, because it really just comes down to how you individually interact with your religion. And as far as religion as a concept, I'm not religious because I don't believe that spirituality should be mandated, and that one singular definition of spirituality should be expected from a large group of people, particularly within a structure that is built on financial dependence, because I feel like there is, the potential for corruption is inevitable at some level. And I just think that mandated spirituality is kind of a toxic concept. So yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts on religion, why I'm personally not religious. But that's not to say that because someone is religious, I view them any differently. But that's the thing, because someone is religious, I don't view them any differently. Like if someone were to say oh, well, they're religious, I'd be like, okay, that doesn't change anything. Who are you as a person? What are your ethics? What are your morals? And I think if religion is promoting, you know, accepting, beautiful, loving behavior, totally here for it. I think it's amazing. I'm so happy that you found something that encourages that type of behavior in your life. But I also think it's important that we make sure to not support, you know, institutions or organizations that are promoting any type of hatred or inacceptance. So that's my thoughts. We're ending on a controversial note. Anyway, thank you guys so much for this live stream. My computer is literally on 3%, so it's about to die. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stay tuned on when my next live stream is, make sure you go follow me on my Instagram because I post all of my updates there. And thank you guys for asking all of your questions as always and for trusting me. I really, really appreciate it. And it means so much that you are, you know, bringing these questions and bringing these concerns to me and, you know, confiding in me. And it means a lot. And thank you for all the support as always and all the kind comments. I will see you guys later. Bye.